Good evening, everybody. Sorry I haven't done a video in a day or so. I've been very busy with just getting things situated for Jerry, getting Jerry to an eye doctor's appointment yesterday. A lot of different things going on. Not that it's all that bad because, I'm not complaining. I haven't had any problems. I just still getting used to the new situations. Having to do as much as I can to take care of everybody. So it's been a fun couple days. Um, Tomorrow is another doctor's appointment, and today was actually, before I start jumping into that stuff, which I think I don't know. But anyhow, today's, how do I put this without sounding wrong? Today is the last day of having to work until the end of winter break. So the way things work out, I can fill out for, Jerry wants to call it unemployment, but it's actually temporary unemployment until either I go back to work after a winter break or I get a job during winter break. I don't know. Kind of thinking about not getting a job during winter break because well, let's just put it this way. I'm on the list of people who's willing to come in to help with catering events or whatever might be happening with that area. I already said that I was going to try to come in Friday to help clean up the food court area, so it doesn't have any issues while we're gone. Like, someone didn't clean up behind a food well or hot well or whatever, and it starts to mold and decay and causes other problems, or it attracts unwanted critters. But so officially, I won't be done for the holiday season or the winter season until Friday, because I'm going to try to get up. I'm not going to get up at 5 o'clock in the morning. No, I'm going to try to get up at like 6 or 7 and be there by 8. And then spend a couple of hours. Well, if we're going by 8, stay there until 2, 3 o'clock, something like that, or whenever they tell me we're done, go home type situation. I don't know yet. But the reason why I just looked off to my left is because it's very windy out there. Wind gusts up to 25 miles per hour. But anyhow, back to work situation. I have plans on going back to work in January when the school season closes. I don't, how do I put this? I don't know what's going to happen by then. There could be a lot of things happening. There could be get lucky and win the lottery, be fortunate enough to be making enough money through YouTube that I don't have to technically work a full-time job. I can try to stay with my current job, but see if they can put me in a part-time situation. But I don't plan on quitting unless situations around here get so glum or drastic or whatever. Julie said she was going to try to be back out here before or right around the time I go back to school or go back to work. Go back to work. There are sometimes I wish I could go back to school for certain things. I wish I had been smart enough 25, 30 years ago to try to follow one of my many passions, which at the time I was doing architectural design work. But part of the course to get your grade is the engineering part, and I'm like, I'm not really into engineering. I'm more into the art, yeah, the architectural part. But that was, you know, that was then. This is now. Um, but anyhow, yeah, I've got plans for this month plus long break to, since travel's out of the question, um, both financially and health wise. Um, so basically, the plans are to go in and do work with her to deal with her craft room. The only downside of that is the fact that she has to wear that turtle shell or whatever you want to call it um, while she's upright. So we can only work when she's comfortable enough to work. So like we might be able to do a couple hours of work, or she might be able to give me like an idea of what she wants me to do and let me at it while she goes and takes the turtle shell off and lays down for a little while until she feels like getting back up, or I literally need her to be there. So we're gonna try to work on that, and then hopefully we'll have that done before. I'd like to be able to have it done before Christmas, but I highly doubt that. But I'd like to be able to get her room finished up before the 31st of December, last day of December. And then hopefully after December, or after the New Year's, I'll have at least 2 weeks before I have to go back to work, and I can get this done. Finally, be done. Of course, like I told her, anything that's crafting is going into the craft room. Anything that is not craft room stuff, it is mine to decide to do what I dang well want to do with it, and if that means throwing it out to Goodwill or something like that, so be it. So well, that it's just, I gotta put my foot down, because I told Jerry yesterday that I physically and mentally can no longer live a cluttered lifestyle. I just can't. I know some people think that certain rooms that have already been done are still kind of cluttered. To some degree, I will agree that it is still somewhat cluttered when you first look at it, but when you look at the space to move around and the fact that there's not just junk piled up on tables or whatnot, I consider that cluttered. The gallery wall, where she has all her pictures and whatnot, that's fine. I mean, I've known, I should say, a lot of people who have at least one wall in their room, or one wall in their home, or one area in their home, whether it's on the wall or on tables, where there's family pictures galore. I'm starting to get used to that. That's not a big problem. It's having to move something just to sit down, or have to move something just to walk around the table, coffee table in the living room, or whatever. Same with my bedroom. I tried to clean it up. She was all right with it, except for the fact that, you know, all the clothes and whatnot that she brought from the hospital is either waiting for me to take care of it or hang it up or whatever. And I'm like, I can kind of understand the hanging up part. I can understand putting the summer clothes into the seasonal baskets, clothing baskets. It's her dresser that I'm just kind of like, you can put it in the dresser. Well, I need help going through all the pajamas and whatnot. No, you take all the pajamas out of the dresser. You put them on the bed. You take the new pajamas. You put them on the bed. You decide which pajamas you want to get rid of, which ones you want to keep, or which ones are for summertime to be put with the, I love my wife to death, but some of the excuses that she comes up with sometimes make me go, okay, I know she was raised differently than I was raised. That's a given. But when do you sit there and go, okay, I'm pulling out the what is the common sense card? I know there are some times where I don't have the common sense and I need someone to pull a card on me, but or need her to pull a card on me, but might as well hang that what is the common sense card around her neck sometimes, because it's just kind of like, okay, I can think of 5,000 different ways to deal with one thing. Well, I shouldn't say 5,000. I can think of 5 different methods of dealing with changing clothes over from winter to summer. I do it every year. Take the winter clothes out, put it on the bed, pull out the basket, the storage box or whatnot for the clothes, sit it down on the bed, pull out the summer clothes, put them on the bed, take the winter clothes, put them in the box, put the box up. No. No. It's pull everything out of the drawers to decide what's going away for the summer season, so she can have places for her summer clothes, and then pull out the summer clothes. Okay. Like I said, we were raised differently. And in truth, the way I was raised when I was younger is we didn't have a box for summer clothes that we put winter clothes in when winter was over. Everything was in your drawers. All your seasons were in your drawers. Our drawers weren't overflowing. Drawers weren't cramped. The drawers were easy to close, open and close. No big deals. Most of the time, pants are usually all year round. If it's too cold, you put on a pair of thermal underwear and thick socks and a shirt, like either a t-shirt or long sleeve shirt. I didn't have any long sleeve t-shirts growing up. It was t-shirts and like thermal underwear or long sleeve shirts. Not long sleeve t-shirts, but like some of my long sleeve shirts were medium weight. They were great for spring and autumn. And then I had sweatshirts for wintertime. I don't know, things have changed since as I grow. I either can't cool off or can't warm up, or my body chemistry is changing overnight, basically. But I guess it's part of growing up, since I don't have any male family members that I can easily go, hey, when you got to such and such an age, did you have a problem with body temperature? But, whatever. Anyhow, as I was talking about, one of the things I started to talk about the beard, of course, the weather. Let's see here. Today's Wednesday, so it must have been Monday night. It was either Sunday or Monday night. We were having, we were already under a thunderstorm warning watch. Then it changed to a tornado watch, and then a tornado warning. We got lucky here in Rolla. There was a Amazon warehouse in St. Louis that got struck. 3 people died. Kentucky, Tennessee had all kinds of damages and loss of life, and just tore through the Smoky Mountain region. Tonight, the only thing we have here in Rolla so far is just high winds. Goes up to 25 miles per hour. But they're already talking about how in Iowa, which is north of us, has had meters basically saying wind gusts up to 90 plus miles per hour. And I'm sitting there going, oh boy. And I looked at one of my weather apps, and they were showing how there's this like big band or big ring of green, which reaches all the way up to Minneapolis, and then all the way down to almost the Arkansas state line. And then there's a yellow band, which is like lower part of Minnesota all the way around to Illinois into northern Missouri and wrapped around. And smack dab in the middle of it, which is where Iowa is just this big red blotch. And that's the area that's most likely going to get tornadoes or anything like that because of the high winds that they're already having. So I'm like, to anybody that might be watching me from any of those zones, especially Iowa or wherever the red zone is going to be, I pray for your safety. I hope you guys keep safe and whatnot. I've never been through a tornado. I've had close calls when I was younger in Arkansas. We've had one or two close calls right here in Rolla, usually northern Rolla or outside of the city limits. Hurricane Sandy is about the closest thing I've ever had to deal with when it comes to natural disaster. Never been through a blizzard so badly that nobody was going nowhere. You were basically locked in your homes and hope you didn't have to travel. Dust storms from Arizona. I wasn't really in the zone. Well, we felt some of the shock waves from the earthquake that hit the DC area years. I'm trying to think, maybe not 10 years, maybe 10 years ago. 2011, 2000, yeah, it was before. I do believe it was before Sandy, but they're actually talking about. Somebody was talking about on one of the newscasts that I watched and weather things I saw. Guy was saying that the northern, Iowa, maybe if there's a tornado in Minnesota, that it's not going to be your standard tornado. It's going to, as the guy put it, a snownado. A tornado in the middle of snow season causing a snownado. And I just kind of went, sounds weird. Never heard of such a thing until today. But if you already have snow on the ground, or if it's coming down and you got a twister that comes out of nowhere because two weather fronts colliding, two different temperature zones colliding at the same time, creating a tornado, it would probably be the wildest, coolest, most dangerous thing you can think of seeing, in the wintertime. It's one thing to have a blizzard where you're stuck in the middle of nowhere in your car and hoping somebody will see the headlights of your vehicle and come and rescue you before it gets drastic. I had a friend of mine I met him up in Yellowstone. And he travels all over the country to the various different parks, and that's basically all he does. He lives off of working for the government, either Grand Canyon, Yellowstone, Grand Tetons. He's even gone as north as what is that national park? Is that Denali, Alaska, or something like that? And he says he doesn't worry about getting caught in the snow. And I'm like, why? He goes, well, between all the gear I carry around with me and extra food, a thing of food, MREs and a whole 9 yards, I can survive, a week or more buried alive in my car, in the snow. And I'm like, okay, if you're ready for it, you're ready for it. If you're not, well, you'll learn from the lesson. I mean, we all learn from, life of one form or another. But with the way the weather has been lately, not only just the fact of that we're getting tornadoes in December, that's unheard of. I've never heard of a weather report or anything like that of a tornado coming through any area, especially as far north as Missouri, anytime past August. You know, that in fact, or the way that just one day it'll be super cold. Like here in Missouri, um, the day before our weather activity here in central Missouri, it was like highs were in the 50s or lower, and then the day of the tornado warnings and whatnot that we got here in Rolla, it was a beautiful 71 degrees, and temperature after the sun started going down was dropping. I mean, like boom, like somebody had literally dropped a wall, and I mean, I don't know that much about weather. I just know enough to understand how it operates and what to look for. But it was like, here's a nice warm front that gave us a 71, and all of a sudden, from the north came like 40, dropped from 71 to 40 in a matter of an hour. And I'm like, yeah, that's why we had the weather we had. We had a cold front coming from the north and a warm front from the southwest. They hit just right here in the Midwest, and all this crazy weather. But I don't have that book. I wish I had that book. One of Mary Summer Rain's books that I read, called Phoenix Rising, talked about this kind of stuff and Native American lore and whatnot, and I was just kind of like, okay, interesting. It was very interesting. But the thing is, the way it was discussed was not just the factor of the lore behind the Phoenix and whatnot, but the how do I put it? The telltale markers of the return or rebirth of the Phoenix or whatnot, and I'm like, okay. Talks about weird weather patterns and hot and cold and everything we're starting to see now, and I'm like, let's see here. I read that book in 86. No, it had to be later. Probably closer to 87, 88. And here I am now, 2021, going, let's see here. All the signs are there for, depending on what religious belief you have, whether you're Christian or not. I sit there and sometimes go, yeah. I can see it coming. But maybe that's just me. Anywho, skipping to the next subject real quick. Jerry has an appointment at 11 o'clock for her I can't remember what it was. It's a transfusion to add something into her bloodstream to help fortify her immune system. you get stage 4 cancer. Yeah, you get your immune system gets all squirrely and practically non-existent because your body's trying to fight off this disease, and it's using every possible ounce of natural antibodies in your system to fight any kind of infection. Whether it's a cold, the flu, God hope not, or any other kind of things that could, push everything back. But here's the fun thing, or I consider it the fun thing. Her appointment's not until 11. She wants to run up to Doolittle, which is 20 minutes or so up the road, if that much. It's like the next town up or something like that, to get donuts. And she says, I want to get donuts for the people at the Mercy clinic that we go to. And I'm like, my brain is sitting there going, you want to go and get donuts to give to the Mercy clinic people? Well, first off, I don't even think that's a whole dozen right there. Second off, do we have the money? And third off, everybody knows that you're diabetic. Everybody knows you're, diabetic with stage 4 cancer or whatever it is. I can't keep track of these things. Sometimes it's stage what? How many stages of cancer is there? But anyhow, I'm like, you're diabetic, you've got cancer. One, you shouldn't be running out, period. You shouldn't be running to various locations, other than the doctors, because we don't know what's running rampant around here anymore. Because one moment I'm hearing COVID's on the rise. Next moment I'm hearing, everything's hunky dory and fine and dandy. There's no reason to lock yourself in your home. But my thing is like, I don't want her out there being exposed to whatever is floating around the air, things of that nature. But she wants to run to Doolittle to get to the Dunkin' Donuts and Doolittle to get some donuts for everybody at the clinic. Fine. You can get donuts for the clinic, but not for the house. I don't want them in the house because it's too much of a temptation. And, it's one thing that when she was up in New York at the hospital, or New York. My God, why am I thinking about New York? It was one thing when she was up in St. Louis at the getting the surgery done, and then she went into rehab. Hospitals and rehabilitation places and medical facilities of one form or another are equipped and designed to keep their environments clean and healthy. You would think Dunkin' Donuts are, but I've been in enough fast food restaurants and whatnot to go, I'm glad I'm not a health inspector, because if I was inspecting it just like they did up in New York and I heard about it and seen it and whatnot, half the places I've been in Missouri, in small town Missouri, would not last long. They would get their first citation with having to pay for a fine and given X amount of time to clean up before another health inspector or the same health inspector came by and looked around and went, you've improved somewhat, but you've got 48 hours to finish the checklist. And if you could not get that checklist finished on time, not only was it a big heavy-duty fine, but you most likely were closed for business permanently. But New York seems to have higher standards when it comes to safety, food safety and whatnot. In fact, my last 2 jobs were surprised. I had a food safety citation or certificate for passing the food service exam, which was not easy. But see how we feel in the morning is what I told her. I said, well, I'll see how I feel, because I'm not gonna set an alarm. But she was saying, well, if we get up by 9 o'clock, we can do it. And I'm like, if I wake up before 9 o'clock without an alarm, I will be surprised the way I've been feeling the last couple of days. But that's how it's been. Anyhow, I'm going to go ahead and sign off. I'll be back at it tomorrow, most likely. But you guys have a good weekend. Be safe weekend. You know, the rest of your week and be safe if you're in the Midwest. It seems to be getting battered by storms of one form or another. Boy, I am so tired. I can't speak straight. Yeah. So if you enjoyed this video, and I'm sorry I'm stumbling over my words all of a sudden, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. If you have any questions or comments about this particular video, go ahead and put them in the comment question section, and I will try to get to them and deal with them as best as I can. If you're new and you choose to join, even though I'm fumbling over my words and whatnot today, that is up to you. You can click the little icon for subscribing, and then a little bell will pop up, and you click on the bell icon, and that will have YouTube tell you when I put my next video in. So until next time, you guys have a good day. Enjoy. Bye.